event so far or what? Man, what an awesome. I hope it's a life-changing event for you, just as like mine for the last few years. And you know, I came to one of these events about a few years back, and you know, I was so frustrated. I hope that you guys have those frustrated feeling in your stomach right now, and you're like, man, I just want to go out there and do something different. I want to go back home and just go out there and just really get back and make some changes. Do you guys have that, yes or no? Yes. Can I pull up a PowerPoint slide, please? My name is David Lynn, and I think the theme of this whole entire thing is called Conquering the American Dream, right? And you know, I got started here not too long ago. Well, actually, I got started here some time ago, like in 2005. I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint. Oh, this one. This was me when I started. You know, in 2005. I was 20 years old. I was a Chinese immigrant, and my background was in the restaurant industry, have no financial services background, and I studied computer science in Cal Poly Pomona. I have no job experience. If you were to tell me that, you know, one of these days I'll be an executive vice chairman, you know, speaking to thousands of people, I would think you're crazy at 20 years old. You look at that picture. But that was my why when I started the business. That was my dream, was one day, was to retire my mom, was to retire my dad, was to send my little sister to go to college. That was the beginning. And you fast forward it, in 2011, I was the last guy. I was so frustrated. I was in the base shop for 6 years. You got so many of you guys in the room right now, you're like, man, you know, I'm excited, and when you guys just been to, you started with WFG, and you got to SMD, and real fast, and I was in the base shop for 6 years. Talk about frustration. How many of you guys are a little frustrated right now? The whole point of the WFG business, you got to get to SMD, you got to become an SMD, and you got to go promote a whole bunch of SMDs. But hey, I was in the base shop for so long, frustrated. Maybe that was you. Let's talk about the last 3 years. In 2013, I was, you know, after 8 years in WFG business, I was barely making $100,000. And that was my first year marrying my wife right here, Elizabeth Sen. Give her a round of applause. Married, just bought my first home. My son was born. He was a premature baby. You know, a whole bunch of medical bills, credit cards, in debt. I was making $100,000 a year, and my wife was at home. We have a nanny, we have a mortgage, we have a car payment, we have medical bills and all kinds of stuff, making $100,000 a year. Frustrated. But it was one of those events that we've been to in 2014 called the Convention of Champions. How many of you guys were there? In Las Vegas. It's called the Turning Point event. You guys remember that? And that was my turning point. That was our turning point as a family in August convention. You know, it's crazy when you go out there and can make a simple decision. I don't know if you guys actually made a decision here today, but it's one of those simple decisions that you make, and you just make a decision and everything could have changed. And this is what happened. In 2014, from August to December, we got promoted to EMD. And from January to June, we got to CEO. And then by January 2016, we officially got promoted to an executive vice chairman team. And we have one of the greatest teams in the company, I think, in my opinion, team champion. We officially got promoted to EVC team. And I tell you what, imagine making $107,000 of frustration that you guys have, or some of you guys make less than that. And my first 8 years in business, matter of fact, my first 6 years in the business while I was in the bake shop, I made less than $80,000. First 6 years combined, I made less than $80,000, and I calculated it. $80,000. I don't want to kill your dreams out here, but that was me. But if I were to tell you in the last 60 days, this company has paid me $172,000 in the last 60 days, is that worth it, yes or no?
Yeah.
So would you want to go out there and suffer for about 5-6 years and learn the business and have an opportunity to make $172,000 in the last 60 days? How many of you guys down for that? Yeah. But during those times that you're in the business, you're searching, and during that quitting phase that you guys have, and most people just kind of drop out those 8 years, can you last that long? What happened in the last few years? We've just been relentlessly chasing after the WFG system. And I'm going to talk about the system a little bit. This is a system. How many of you guys actually collect a prospect list? And this is something that we've been talking to the team about. You get a prospect list, and you got to go contact those people. You invite them. How are you on your phone calls? How many pop-bys and drop-bys do you do? And what you do on your BPM, can you effectively teach your guys how to close? And it's very simple. Either you're recruiting or you're selling. Either you're persuading people to join your company, or you're persuading people to buy a product. Both things, both persuasion, it's about changing people's lives. Yes or no?
Yes.
You change people's lives with the products, or you change people's lives with a career opportunity.
On that side?
And if you want to go recruit them, right? You fast start them, collect another list, you make them a client, and you go out there, duplicate the entire system again. Or you're on the right side, you become a client, they become your clients, you go out there, ask for referrals, and you put them back into prospect list, and you go contact them again, invite them again, and call them again, and make them a client again. But I can't tell you how many people, they stop doing that. Or maybe somewhere in between, maybe they don't put people on the prospect list. Or they prospect people, they don't call them. Or they call them, they invite them to BPM, they don't follow up. Or they recruit them, they don't collect another prospect list. Part of the fast start they talk about, they don't talk about the fast start list, or they're not fast enough to make them a client. So the results of repeating the system and over again, in the last few years, we built a pretty successful team. System duplication, the results of that, this is my ring earners yesterday. If you're making $100,000 and above, these are people making $100,000 above in my team actively in the last 12 months. It's funny how people talk about getting the ring, but are you a rolling 12 ring earner? Can you go out there repeatedly getting a rolling 12 ring earner, or your cash flow up and then next month you drop? These are my rolling 12 ring earners. Give these people a round of applause.